All right, today I'm looking at using Claude Code with Opus 4 to solve crossword puzzles. I started working on this on Memorial Day, and CNN has a really cool crossword puzzle site. So I was using that. Here's an example. This is the one that they had on Memorial Day that I was playing with. And they have the grid over here, and then they have the clues. Pretty standard setup. Uh, with a bunch of across and a bunch of down clues. So the goal was to try to get Claude to solve this with as little of my help as possible. I've been playing around with this for a few days and couldn't get it all the way there, but I got it pretty far. I think it's kind of cool, so I was going to share that. And maybe in the future I'll come up with um, a better approach, or better models will make it fully automatic. But let's just play around with it. So let's uh, let's clear out some old state here. We're gonna start fresh. All right, so this is the directory I'm going to be working in, and it's going to start out pretty lean. There's a claude.md file that's just some basic instructions to Claude. And let's take a look at that so you can see what's in there. It just kind of tells it what this project is about, gives it some information about the format of the clues, and then I also give it some general advice about crosswords, about just kind of tricks that the clue writers use to give subtle hints. I thought that might be useful. And that's it. That's the whole file. So Claude is going to have that, and then a puzzle is going to be in a puzzle directory. And let's see, let's clean that up. So here's what's in the puzzle directory. It's just a bunch of images, and I've done screen captures of the across clues and the down clues, and I also did the grid, but it's not going to use that. Um, let me show you what the clues images look like. So here's one. Here's the first set of across clues. And then here's the second set of across clues. And then the third set of across clues. And that's all of the across. And then it's, same setup for down. Here's down A, down B, and down C. So this is what Claude's going to have, just images. And let's put that away. And let's fire it up. All right, Claude. Welcome, Claude. So now let's see what model we're on. All right, so I've played around with this a lot at this point, and the default model is Claude Sonnet 4, and that can get really pretty far through this. I mean, it's kind of impressive, but I've never gotten all the way through without just a ridiculous amount of help. So today I'm going to use Claude Opus 4, which is the bigger, stronger model. It's also a lot more expensive. It's probably 4 or 5 times as much by the time we're done, but we need that to make it work. So let's select that. We're using Claude Opus 4. And then as I've played around with this, I've kind of figured out some of the starting prompts to use. So instead of typing those in on the fly here, I'm going to save some time, and I've just kind of stored those ahead of time. And I'll just copy and paste those in. You can read them if you want. Um, but the idea here is we're going to use scaffolding. Like if you just gave this to Claude and said do it, it's not going to work. So the idea is to give it some tools that it can use to make its job easier. Tools like that are called scaffolding. and we're going to have it build its own scaffolding. And we're going to do that one bit at a time here. So I'm going to get this going and I'll describe it as it's going. So it's going to write some Python code um, that will keep track of the current state of the puzzle, while we're going through the process of solving it. So it's going to store the puzzle state in a JSON file in this directory. And then for each clue, we're going to give it permission to write this code, and we're going to give it permission to just keep writing without my approval. For each clue, it's going to store if it's in a cross or a down, the clue number, the clue text, which we start out not knowing. That's what we're trying to figure out, but it'll store whatever we have for that. The length, each clue has each answer has a certain number of letters. The coordinates, right? So where it is in the grid, the across and down position for that answer. And oh, I'm sorry, clue text wasn't what we were trying to figure out. Clue text is the text of the clue. And then the current best answer is whatever answer is, and it can contain dots for any unknown letters. And let's see what it's doing. Okay, it says it's done it. So I'm going to keep Claude going in this terminal here, and then right over here in this other terminal window, it's in the same directory, but we can pop over here at times to see what's going on under the hood. And there's a new Python script now. We can just take a quick look at that. Okay, looks like pretty standard Python. And I'm not going to take the time to review this carefully. I'm gonna vibe code our way through this. That's not a good idea for anything important, but since we're just playing around here, I'm gonna go with it. And if there are problems, we'll figure that out along the way. So we have our main puzzle script now, and let me grab the next prompt for it to keep going. So the next step is going to be adding a way to enter um, enter a clue into our, what's basically a little database here. So it's going to add a new command to our Python script. Scroll back up, and in that command, it'll take the number with the oh no, the cross down value. Um, oh yeah, whether it's a cross or down, and then the clue number, the clue text, and whatever the required answer length is. And okay, it says it's done all that. Let's keep going. The next command line option that we add will be a way to tell it what the coordinates are for each of the clues. We're going to do that as a separate process to just to split up the whole process of entering clues in. And get the next prompt ready here. It's cranking its way through that. Yep, it's adding arguments. Okay, it's done it. Or at least it says it has. So now we're going to tell it to add another argument to our script, or command line option to the script, for when we're actually guessing answers or entering answers into it. So let's get that going. And queue up the next prompt here. This next one is going to be adding an option to print out the whole list of clues and answers We'll want that while we're solving the puzzle to see what's going on. Okay, it says it's done with that. Get that one going. All right, these next two are the complicated ones, and um, you know what? I've tried several ways of doing this. When I first started out, I had it store everything as a grid, as a two-dimensional grid. That seemed like the most obvious way to me. But these models have a really hard time dealing with 2D stuff. I mean, they're inherently linear, lines of text. And so I found that this other approach of just thinking in terms of clues and answers with some extra tooling worked a lot better. Um, so I came up with an approach, but it still needs to get information about what's across and what's down and how those two things relate to each other. So these next two um, options for our Python script help it see that information without looking at the 2D grid directly. So this first one is going to extend the list that it prints out with a column of text that shows what the crosswise for any of our answers, it shows what the crosswise letters are to that answer, right? So if our answer is a cross, it'll show what the down answers, where those answers letters line up with our crossword. And that will help it kind of parse this 2D problem in a way that's more manageable for it. All right, it says it's done with that. Hope so. Okay, this next one is also kind of complicated, but it's for the same purpose. It's another way of looking at it. It's taking the first two things that we did, the answer and the crosswise letters, and then merging those two things together to show where they conflict with each other or where they agree or where there's still an unknown. And we'll see examples of this pretty soon that'll hopefully make more sense to you in a couple minutes here. And you can also pause and read the prompt to understand that better. All right, I'm getting most of the way through the scaffolding here. All right, now we're going to have it add yet another option that'll print out the list of the puzzle state, but instead of printing out the whole puzzle state, it'll just print out the clues where it's still unsolved. And so that'll let us kind of focus in on the part of the puzzle that we actually need to be solving still, and kind of skip the part that's been solved. All right, after this, we'll have one more command to build. This is an easier one. This is just a command to tell it to reset all of the letters in one of our answers. So if we get stuck or if we see that something is showing a lot of conflicts with its crosswise letters, then we'll use that to clear it out. And that's going to be all the scaffolding, I hope, unless we get stuck. So we're mostly ready to start solving the puzzle, but or at least start building the puzzle. But before we do that, let's have it document. We've just built this whole API basically. Let's have it document that in our claude.md file so that if we need to come back later, it'll know how to use the script that it just built. Okay. All right. So it's working on that. I'll start describing this next bit. For the next part, we're gonna tell it to actually open a new or init a new file. So it'll start out with a fresh puzzle state, and then actually start going through all of those images of the clues across and down, and pulling out the clue text from all of those and populating those into our little database. And this is one of the slow parts. So let's see how this goes. Okay, it has the right to-do list there. I need to give it permission to do that. Run some commands. Let's hop over to this other terminal. We can see what's going on. Oh, okay, so it has looked at the three across image files now. I may give it permission just to keep going with that. All right. Oh, okay. So it's now storing the puzzle state in this subdirectory. Um, we can take a quick look at that. It's not intended to be human readable, but it's just a JSON file with a whole bunch of clues in it, or a few clues in it now. It'll have a whole bunch more shortly. Yep, it's going through, adding clues. I mean, it's pretty amazing that it can, just without any specialization to this problem, just as a general model, it can go through and do this. Pretty, pretty incredible. Hmm. I can start talking through the next steps, because this is going to be sitting here doing this for a little while. Um, yeah, it's still, well, it's almost done with the across. See, there's an error here. That was 52. Okay, it did 52 appear. Across 52, there was an error. So it came back, it saw that and came back and fixed it. Again, pretty remarkable behavior. All right, I think that's going to be all the across clues, and it's about to start on the down. Yeah, it's going to read the three down image files and then put those clues into the database. All right, so once it's done with all that in a couple minutes, um, the next part is going to be telling it the coordinates of each answer. So hopefully that's clear, but just to make sure, here's the puzzle grid, and like here's answer 24 across, and somehow the the model that we're building, the tool, needs to know where this answer is in the grid. So for each answer, we're going to give it coordinates, which is how many cells across is it and how many cells down. So this one would be at coordinate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this would be at coordinate 8, comma 5. I spent a lot of time trying to get the model to extract that from the grid image itself, and it could actually do reasonably well. I mean, pretty impressive how well it could do, but it wasn't reliable enough. And I tried getting it to write its own scaffolding to improve it, and that helped, but I never got it really as reliable as it needed to be. So I ended up just writing that down myself manually, and then we're gonna give it those coordinates that I extracted myself, and it'll use that. So this is probably the biggest cheat in the whole system, the least automatic part of it. Um, but I mean, I think it's still pretty impressive that it can do as much as it can do. So let's see, it's almost done with the down clues. Remember 51, I think there's 55. It goes up to 55. Yep. Okay. It's finishing up here. All right. Now we'll check that in a second, but let's get it going on the next step here. So here are all the coordinates that I figured out for the down clues. And I'm just going to give it to the model like this, and then tell it to use the Python script to enter them into the database. So it's working on that. While that's going, let's pop over here to the other terminal. And let's see, let's do clear and Python puzzle state. Let's remind ourselves what this can do. Okay, so here's our Python script, the script that we wrote, the scaffolding. It has all these options now, and let's look at the list to see what's going on. Oh, let's see. Now we just let's remove that. We don't want to create a new file in this directory. Show this message. I guess we want to be in that folder. So let's clear and Python 3 puzzle state. Let's list. Okay. There it is. Okay, so now Um, here's the list of all the clues. So one across is flurries of activity. I kind of wish you'd put spaces in here. We could fix that, but we'll see how it goes. And then he, here's where the answer is going to be. Here's where the crosswise letters are going to be, and here's where that merge of the two, the comparison of the two, is going to be. So that goes down for all of the clues. And there's one in particular. Oh yeah, this one. The let me show you that. Actually, let's check, see how it's doing over here. No, it's still going. Um, Let me show you in the puzzle. So in this one, 37 down, it's RX items, prescription items, but the Claude 4 Sonnet model, I always got this wrong, and I always thought this was fix items, FIX, but Claude Opus 4 got it right, RX, so that'll help. Otherwise, I probably would have wanted to correct that manually, but we do not need to. I've only used Opus 4 a little bit because it's pretty expensive, and at the end we'll print out the cost and see. But I don't want to go through this very many times. Okay, it says it's done the down clues. Hope so. Let's give it the across clues. Same format and get it going. This will be the last step in kind of setting up the database with the crossword state. And then after this, we can actually start solving it. It'll take a couple minutes. I don't have it printing out the coordinates in this display because it really doesn't matter. We've kind of disconnected ourselves from the 2D grid, and we're letting the Python script worry about dealing with how the across answers interact with the down answers. This printout will kind of show the Claude model what it needs to know about those interactions, so it won't have to try to read down and across words on its own, because it really, at least the Sonnet model really struggles with that. This is also hard for these models because these models aren't good with dealing with letters, right? They deal with tokens, parts of words. And this task is very much focused on individual letters. So that's another part of this that's a challenge for it. Working our way through. It does seem to do really pretty well with getting a long list of something and being able to work through that list carefully and getting it right. I mean, you've probably noticed I'm not double checking this stuff, and may regret that by the time we're done here. But for now, we're just plowing through. It's on 48. I think it goes up to 61. Oh yeah, right there. All right, made it through 56. We're getting pretty close. $60. One more to do. And there it is. All right, it's finishing that up. Let me get the next prompt ready. And then its next prompt, we're going to ask it to go ahead and start using all of these tools to start solving the puzzle. Um, and this is what that prompt looks like. Pretty simple. Um, let's kick it off and see what happens. I mean, it won't be able to do, to solve the puzzle just based on this one prompt. It's going to need some more coaching and help for sure. But that's my last pre-prepared prompt. From here, we'll just kind of go ad hoc and react to however it's doing. All right. So now it's starting to answer clues. So for 5 across, it did sob. All right, so let's check over here. Across, 5 across is Swedish aerospace giant. It had 4 letters and it did sob. So that sounds pretty good. For 9 across, it's doing iams. And 9 across is pet food brand, 4 letters. So yeah, that seems to fit. I've spent a lot of time with this puzzle now, so I happen to know that will actually end up being wrong. But it's a reasonable first guess. I'm not sure that it should have been, 95% confident about it, but um, it's not it's not a bad answer. Let's see, 13 across, it did Vaughn. Let's see, 13 across, Olympic skier Lindsay. Yeah, I mean that's safe. 4 letters. Yeah, be pretty confident about that. And then you can see it's just going through answering them based on the clue text. And just from having worked with this for a while now, I can tell you these answers are mostly correct. Bang, I think that's correct. 61 across. Loud noise, bang. Let's see. No, actually, I think that ends up being wrong. That one does. But it's a pretty good first guess. All right, now it's going through the down clues. Let's see. 6 down, it says achy. Over here, okay, sore, 4 letters, achy. Yeah, and that actually does turn out to be correct. Previous models had done ache a lot, which is close, but not quite right. Mary Kate and Ashley. Aha. So it was this one is asking for let's look at that. Down 12. Down 12, Full House Twins. So yeah, it is Mary Kate and Ashley, but it's whatever this is, like 6 letters or something. So the right answer is going to be Olson's. And it did Mary Kate and Ashley, but that returned an error because it's the wrong number of letters. Oh yeah, so it came back right away and did Olson's, and that's correct. So this is where the tooling really helps it. Like the tooling told it, hey, that's a guess, but you can be confident that's wrong because it's too many letters. Oof, it's getting ahead of us here. Yeah, these are mostly looking correct. 54 down. It only goes to 55, so we're doing pretty good. Oak. Yeah, this one turns out to be wrong. It always guesses oak here. This is wood for building furniture, I think is the clue. Let's look at it. Furniture wood, 3 letters. So, I mean, oak is a very good guess for that. It just turns out to be wrong in this case. Uh, Let me print out all the unsolved. Okay, so now it's using this unsolved command that we had it build, which prints out just the answers that are unsolved. Let's look at that over here. Let me do help first. Unsolved. Okay. Unsolved. All right. So now it's starting to come together. Let's see what's going on here. Conflicts to resolve. All right. So it took a break to come back and check in with us. Good. It had just done a lot of work. Um, Let me give it some encouragement and tell it to keep going here. Nice work. Now that you have some good guesses in place, use the new crosswise information to see if you can answer any more more clues with high confidence. All right, we'll kick that off. I mean, it's just like a person. You have to go through it multiple times, each time, hopefully learning a little bit, and that helps the next time through. Okay, but let's go back. Here's the game state from a minute ago. Um, Flurries of activity. It hasn't made a guess yet because these are all dots. This is a cross, so the down clues are telling it that it's probably AD dot something something. Um, so that's a clue. Um, for the next one, sob was the guess, and the across the down, I mean, the down answers would tell you that it's something AAB, so that's totally in agreement with that. And the merge here says the same thing. Okay, now this one is interesting. Remember I said that it guessed IAMS, but that's the wrong answer for a pet food brand. Um, the across shows A dot dot O. And for both of those, you know, for the first and last letter, it says, okay, that's in conflict with the down. So that'll be a clue to us in a minute that maybe something's wrong here. Um, so that's kind of how this tooling works. Okay, and remember I said bang was going to be wrong. The down answers are saying something something AK, and there are conflicts on those last two letters. Um, Actually, this one's going to end up being wrong too, that K, but that's part of the process here. All right, let's see how it's doing. Nope, it's still going. Diagonal, relish, pillows, mentor, those are all correct. Adues, yep. Snarf, that's going to be wrong. Level, that's going to be wrong. Nah, that's going to be wrong. Yeah, it always has a hard time. Sugar rush, that's wrong. So it's getting to the tricky part of the puzzle here. Um, but sometimes you have to try something, see that it doesn't work, and then back out of it. Nose rings, bicycle house, so those are all correct. Let's take another look over here. We'll print out the unsolved again. Still a lot of unsolved ones. Um, this one is one of the really long ones. Really, really strong. It always struggles with this. Doesn't know what it is yet. I mean, see, that's what the this is what the down clues would tell you that it is. And some of these letters are wrong. It's mostly right, but it wouldn't jump out at me immediately what that's supposed to be, I don't think. All right, let's see where it is. Still going. Rail, I think rail was right. Clue 58 down, not found. Yeah, there's no 58 down. Oh yeah, it should have been, it made a mistake. It should have been doing 58 across. And then, okay, it fixed it here. That's correct. Okay, remember I said the oak wood is wrong? Um, it turns out elm is correct. And it just put in elk, which isn't wood, but it's a lot closer to the right answer. So it's kind of a weird step in the right direction. For that really long, hard one, it just did "It grew on me on Mo." So uh, that's a weird answer, but I mean it's kind of a step in the right direction. Bluebeard is correct. Nate's side always has a hard time with this one. That's not quite right, but it's close. All right. Let's look at the state now. All right. I mean, it's making progress. This list is getting shorter. Um, oof. This is getting really hard to read. Let's fix that. Make it a little bit easier for us human types to look at this. In the meantime, we can work with what we got here. So this one has a ton of conflicts. Um, this has a conflict. I mean, pretty much everything has at least one conflict through here. So some of the help we need to give it is to tell it to focus on the ones that have a large number of conflicts. That's not something it usually realizes on its own. And if we get it to focus on those and try to fix those first, that can help lock everything else into place. Yeah, this is all conflicts. Loud noises, roar. Uh, it's trying to read something. That's fine. All right, there it is. It's adding spaces now around those pipes. All right, so now this should be easier to read. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. Now let's pay. Now let's see. If an answer has a large number of conflicts, that's a pretty strong hint that it's wrong. Focus on those answers with a large number of conflicts and think creatively about alternative answers that might work better. Hmm. Let it thunk on that a little bit. I mean, it's just even what it's done so far is really cool. Just that it has this wide-ranging knowledge about the world that it can take crossword hints and already has most of them correct. It's just a few. And it has answers for everything. It's just some of them are wrong. So now it's the process of going through, figuring out which ones are wrong and correcting them. And this, it does have some trouble through here. So I'm not sure exactly how this is going to go. Yep. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. This is one that Sonnet 4 just really, really struggled with. It always wanted to do yep as a terse affirmative, which makes sense. But the real answer is I am. And the model really struggles with these like multiple words smashed together, as you would expect, right? That's not something these models do. So just the fact that it looked at that and figured it out is pretty incredible. So it set the right answer there. Ural, that's correct. Buy off, that's correct. Essay, that's going to be wrong. I think that may have made things worse for that one. Oh, no, but now it just came back and it said it correct. Yeah, it realized array was actually better than essay, so it set it back. It's just really cool. Asian territory on a risk board. Yep, that's Ural. That's correct. So something in the other direction is wrong. See how it's using, oh, what's this? It wants to find something. See how it's using like commands? Like it's using our script to get the puzzle state, but then it's grepping it to just get the part of it that it wants to focus on. Really cool. It thinks there's a typo in one of the clues. I haven't looked at that. Oh wow. Yeah, that's totally right. As tough as nails. Yeah, that's one of the really hard ones. And once that's done, a lot of other stuff kicks into place. Here's the other really long one. It's growing on it's oh, it's almost right. It should be it's growing on me. It's growing R on me. So very close. Uh Snorted, that's correct. That's correct. That's correct. Elm, it finally got the furniture wood. CDR, this is one that the Sonnet model, it's Commander. It's 47 down. I'll show you that one. 47 down is a captain's underling. It wanted to do sergeant or other things, but it should be CDR, Commander, and it just got that one. It says there are just two conflicts left. Let's see if we agree. Oh my God. I think it may have just solved it. It's growing on me. Yeah, it just fixed that one. Oh, wow. Oh no, I think it just, I think it just broke. I think it had it. I think it had the whole puzzle solved, and then it just broke one of them. 45. Oh, okay, and now it's coming back and fixing it again. Let's see if there's anything left now. Nope, nothing left. Perfect. No unsolved clues remain. Wow. Okay. So now, um, let's let's check it. Let's um, let's list it. Okay, there's everything. And I'm going to move this off screen and we're going to go to the puzzle. And let's enter these in and see if it works. Aduze, sob, elpo, fawn, UCLA, tail, as tough as nails, array, toddler, mortar, beg, lone, angel, hair, how so, iced, ink, now, let, Iggy Pop, damn, nah. Let's see. Let. Wait. Oh wait. What did I do? I got behind. Nah. Sis. Mice. Dream. Bluebeard. Neat. Q. Ranges. Already. Pinto. It's growing on me. 56 is shoe. Fog, rail, hand, fess, and slam. Okay. Yeah. Uh, I noticed one mistake in there, um, which is 38 across. And the clue for that is as if, in quotes, which not, I mean, kind of fits. It's not crazy. But then 38 down is where it says talks trash about. The model always struggles with this one because it is admittedly a really hard clue for this. But Nate's on doesn't match anything, doesn't mean anything to me. It should be, I mean, obviously it should be hates on, right? So that should be hates on, and then across should be ha for um, as if. So not perfect and pretty awesome, but let's see. Let's come back here and and asking about that. What do you think about 38 down? It wants to look and see what it is. Nate's on. Oh, there it goes. You're right. Nate's on isn't good. Talks trash about. Look at the crosswise. It likes hates on. It sets it to that. If that creates any conflicts, okay, yeah, it says that's nah. There's a conflict. Okay, and then it changes that to ha. So, yep, there it is. So if we come back and check again, the unsolved clues, everything, there are no conflicts. And here, if we change this to an H, uh-oh. What are we still missing? Let's check the puzzle. Uh, there's nothing wrong. Yeah, I think that was just a glitch. Adu, Sob, Elpo, Vaughn, UCLA, Tail, as tough as nails, array, toddler, mortar, beg, moan, angel hair, house so, iced ink. Now let Iggy Pop, damn, ha, sis, mice, dream, bluebeard, neat, Q, ranges, already Pinto, it's growing on me, shoe, fog, rail, hand, fest, slam. Let me check the other direction. Ava, dose, on target, snorted, Ural, sugar high, achy, Allah, baster, nog, a tad, laid low, pillow, Olson's, REO, Speedwagon. Male, once, uh, Ang Lee, nose rings, hop, bicycle, I am, diagonal, acres, meds, DNA, relish, Eartha, it's the name of a singer, hates on, aged, commander, buy off, whoa, pigs, nose rings, bang, mentors, MIA, and Elm. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what just happened with the check, but that is correct. So got it. Pretty awesome. Um, oh, that's not it. Let me look at where is there we go. All right, let's let's see what that cost us. Uh, I think it's going to be ugly. $35. Okay, it's actually not as bad as I thought it could be. Um, 35 bucks to solve a crossword. Um, maybe not the best deal in town, but pretty cool. Okay, that's it. I don't think there's anything else to say about it, so let's exit Claude, and I am out of here.